All right. Good evening, everyone. We're excited to have tonight's conversation about the upcoming Uncomplicated Leadership Conference in Houston. If you've never seen me before, I'm Julia Rock, founder and CEO at Rock Career Development. And tonight I am with my amazing co-host for the conference, the Javon Wooden, Dr. Javon Wooden, excuse me, had to correct myself there. Author, keynote speaker, all the things. It's an honor to share the stage with you tonight, sir. What are we talking about when we say the conference? What are we talking about tonight, Javon?
Oh man, Julia, honored to share this platform with you as well, and honored to be co-hosting the Uncomplicated Leadership Conference taking place in Houston, Texas. We're going to get more into the details, so you got to just stay tuned. I don't want to give away it all because we need you to stay in and be inviting your friends to this very panel that we're having right now. But
That's right.
we've noticed, Julia, right, that a lot of conferences follow the same format and structure. But we have decided that format and structure is not necessarily the best when it comes to implementation of the ideas. So we're going to get into what that means. And Julia, you really are the catalyst for this. You really had the idea, and it's based on your book. So I'm going to give the floor to you. I was just grateful to say, oh, that's a fantastic idea. Let's do this. And that's how we got together.
Man, thank you so much. And shameless plug for everyone. You know, Javon also has a book, so we're gonna make sure that we go ahead and get that. But if you're joining, please drop in the chat where you're joining us from. If you're in the Houston area or elsewhere, you know, what kind of leadership conferences have you been to this year? Let's get some dialogue going. But to Javon's point, you know, my book, Uncomplicated Leadership, it's the pre-orders go live next month, and it goes live fully on August 30th. And the idea was, you know, leadership itself has become overly complicated, and then conferences have become complicated, and it's the same stale. You get a keynote, you get a workshop, and then you go home. And Javon and I were just like, you know what? That's not it. In terms of for leaders to really take something tangible and implement it and practical and implement it with their teams, we thought we had to do something really different. And I think that when we think about leadership, if we really want to stand out, we have to do something different. Wouldn't you agree, Javon?
Absolutely. And I love, the whole concept of uncomplicated leadership. A lot of folks are probably out there, they're watching like, what do you mean?
Right.
I get what leadership is. Leadership is, some group of people or one individual looking to move a group of people or an individual in the same direction towards a common goal. It's simple, but we make it complex when we add egos and we add bureaucracy and we add our way of doing things and our notions and perceptions and all these things that really are our beauty because that makes us human, but it becomes a barrier to a lot of aspects. And that's what we're seeing today. And it shows up in a multitude of ways when we think about companies, when we think about being a leader at really from manager up experiences this. So we wanted to bring you something that would simplify what it means to not just focus on the technical side of things, but how can I lead the human that is making these things happen and making the goals possible.
And I want to pick up from there, Javon, because, and this is no tea or shade to the AI conferences out there. We love it. We love the progress that we're seeing in technology, but we wanted to put the humanity back in focus. That's really what this conference is about. So we're not going to have 12 different panels on how to use AI in your company or how to lead with AI. There's enough of that out there for you to glean that. We decided that, hey, we want to put the human back in focus because that's when it comes to leadership, that's who you're leading. Those are the people that you're impacting. Those are the folks who have the say in what you're doing or not doing. And they're the ones who make the organization go. They're pushing things forward. And so we're excited to bring the human back in center. So with that, Javon, so let's talk a little bit about, what people can expect at this conference, right? Because, like we said, we're not trying to do the one keynote and the 12 breakouts and then everybody goes home. So what would you say is different about how we're approaching this conference?
Well, one thing about this conference I'm excited about as a coach myself is we actually have coaches that are there present to help you with your strategy. If you have an issue that you want to work on, you can actually sign up to be coached by these coaches. And yes, these are International Coach Federation certified and accredited coaches, but they are also destined and determined to do business and strategy. So they know exactly what the issues may face. They probably worked in some of the industries that you are looking to work in. So you can get the best of both worlds. You can get the coach that is going to help you align and identify situations and solutions that align with you, but also to say, you know what, I'm changing my hat. I'm going to be a consultant. I'm going to be a strategist for you right now. Here's what, have you tried this? If not, here's how it looks, and help you create an actionable roadmap for your unique instance. For me, that is the biggest difference for a lot of these conferences. And the other component to this is we are not forcing you into sessions that do not align with you. We are curating these sessions and ensuring that, one, they're shorter. Because
that's right. Amen. Right. The shorter sessions.
They're shorter sessions. So you're not going to sit into an hour-long breakout session that has 40 minutes of fluff and 20 minutes of implementation. These are nothing but, hey, we have the idea and we're going to drill down on that idea to help you do it right away so you can get a greater grasp on the concept and how it applies to your unique circumstances. And then there's also not 1,000 vendors looking to sell to you.
Hello.
Right. We have actually a resource center that will help you and guide you, that will provide, we have takeaways, we have books, we have 1,000, plus things that are probably going to be in there, and we're still curating this. So if you want to be a part of it, let us know. Right. But all that is really different, and we have much more to build on, Julia, from that space. But everything I just mentioned is different from the formulaic approach that a lot of these conferences take.
Yeah, there's something that you talked about that I want to go back to around the coaches, because people will say, "Oh, I've been to conferences where they have coaches," but the difference with the coaches that we have, it goes back to what Javon said around the practicality that you can bring a challenge there. The coach is not supposed to give you a cliffhanger and it's like, "Well, go home and do all the work and then hire me to help you with the rest." With the coaches that are going to be on site with us are getting very clear directives as to help you with an immediate challenge. So if you want to bring members of your team and your organization and go in and spend time with that coach, they're dedicated to helping you address whatever real concern, giving you real strategy so that you can leave there and implement, and you don't necessarily have to hire them again. And that can be a choice if you choose to, but the goal is to get you something tangible that you can take with you. And the other thing is going back to the resource library. So we're curating these resources so that, you don't just have a swath of things to choose from. You're actually going to have someone to talk to in that resource library to say, "Hey, this is the challenge that I'm facing. This is the kind of stuff I need." And then you can have someone guide you through that process. And I want to say something about the speakers as well. So he mentioned that the talks are shorter. And so we're also working with the speakers to be very clear about that. It's not just any and everybody that we're having. Yes, we have an open call for speakers, but we as a team are really vetting the speakers to make sure that these are folks that are equipped to provide you with the right level of insight for your leadership journey. And it's not just, here's a case study of the 12 people that I worked with and, hope it works for you. It's going to be very different. The one other thing I wanted to mention that we're doing is curated networking. We're going to have curated networking. So we're actually going to have a mixer the night before so that you can actually meet people. And then before you even get to the conference. So the conference dates, if I didn't mention those, are September 24th and 25th in Houston at the gorgeous Blossom Hotel. I mean, you saw that place, Javon. I was like, "Ooh, this is nice, ain't it?"
Oh, wait till you see it. If you have not seen it, you're gonna be like, "Oh, why didn't nobody have events here before?" So
right,
another difference.
Exactly. It's like look at us getting it on the ground floor. But we're having curated networking both the night before and at the conference so that whether you are extroverted or introverted, that there will be things to help you build relationships and build connections. We've all been to those conferences where you walk in and it's like, okay, it's a sea of people and you kind of have to fish your way and try to find who to talk to and hope for the best. But we want to be more intentional about how we develop that networking. What are your thoughts about what we're doing there, Javon?
I love it. I actually feel like, and I'm thinking about all the conferences and events I've gone to, sessions are fantastic, but really where the value typically lies is in the connections made. And because we are curating these spaces, we're asking you questions before you even get to the conference, so we can kind of know and better align who would be a good connection or fit for you. And we're allowing that to kind of help us define how things are run. So it's really a modular approach that really hasn't been done before. And we're very selective about how we put this together so we can get the right folks in the room. We're not looking to have thousands of people at this conference. Right. And I also feel that that's another difference. We're looking to have focused, innovative change makers in this space, and people who are at the leadership level, leadership by title in this instance, right? People who have to make these decisions on a daily basis that really permeate and resonate throughout not just their companies, but our communities as a whole. And that's a lot of pressure. So we understand that. So we want to make sure that we're valuing your time, connecting you with the right people in the right spaces, and also creating thought-provoking content that can make you say, you know what, let me give this a shot. And then go to one of our coaches and lean in on that in the resource library. So I look at this, Julia, and I look at it like, man, you know, I know we're doing it. So I'm not just saying it because we're doing it, but why hasn't it been done this way sooner is my question.
Right. And I guess that's the thing I thought about too, as we were putting it together. It's like, why has no one else done this? Because we have to ask ourselves, why do people host conferences in the first place? Right. Mm-hmm. If the goal is really to help people, one, learn, but two, also build relationships, why has this not really been done? And, you know, when you have 10,000 people there, sure, yes, you can make a connection, but it's more hope than anything. And what we know from leadership is that hope is not a strategy, right? So if you're going to just walk into a conference and hope that you meet the right person and hope you learn something, that's not really the best use of your time or money, because conferences aren't free. And so the way that we're doing it is making sure that you're approaching this conference in a strategic way, and you can actually get value out of it through the networking, through the coaching, through the sessions that are particularly curated for you and your needs and what you're looking for. And so one of the things that I want to talk about, though, is really, so who do we really want to have in this room? So we said we're not going to have tons of people. So when you think about who we're going to have in the room, Dr. Wooden, I'm going to put the doctor in there real quick. Gonna do a little, throw it in. But when you think about who this conference is truly for, what would you say?
Yeah, I would say, as I alluded to, is people who are addressed with the challenge of making decisions that carry the weight of not just impacting them in this time period, but also resonate and align with the legacy and the future of what's happening. So they are making heavy decisions. They are leaders by title. They are directors, VPs, C-suite, folks that, and these are organizations that really move the way our society moves, right? So if they make a choice, then it can really change the dynamic of the landscape of everything. So that's the leaders we're having in this room. And for me, that means that this discussions really have to be curated to ensure that we're encompassing the brevity and the gravity of those decisions. And that's how we're going to approach everything that we do, is very intentional. We understand, we've been there ourselves, so we understand that landscape, and we've also kind of surveyed some of the folks that we've spoken to who want these types of things. So that's the leaders that's going to be in the room. If you're that leader, I recommend you do not wait to get in the room. And also, we're still at a time where we want to listen. And I think that's another difference. We're not doing this in a vacuum. Though we've been there, though we coach these leaders, though we talk to these leaders, we're in these organizations, we also want to get your perspective and your thoughts on what you would like to see. So feel free to also reach out to us from that perspective.
That's right. And especially if you're watching on LinkedIn, we're dropping in the chat where you can go to get more insight about the conference. So uncomplicated-leadership.com. That's where you can learn more about the conference. And you can also reach out to Dr. Wooden and myself about, wanting to be a part of this, wanting to share your thoughts, ask any questions. You can go through that link as well. And you made a point there, Javon, around us being in those seats at a period of time, right? And so that's what you can also keep in mind, that these are the folks who are trying to create this conference, the two of us and the rest of our team, these are all people who have been in leadership seats and understand leadership challenges. So that's where you're going to get the practical application and understanding the gravity of the decisions that you make. And so we have that in mind as we build the programming. So it's not that we're just pulling something out of an HR or coaching textbook. It's true lived experience that we've had either for ourselves or with people that we've coached who are still sitting in those seats. And so you can have that confidence around the programming that it's going to be relevant to you and anyone in your organization. So you can come by yourself, or you can bring members of your leadership team. So if you're an executive and you have direct reports who are leaders, you can bring them. And again, also have time with the strategists and coaches to make sure that you're getting the support that you need. So it's time to talk about what we need for this conference. So we've kind of set the stage here as to what we're doing and why and who's going to be there. But now it's time for us to talk about what is it that we need at this point. So Javon, what is it that we need right now for the conference?
Yeah, one, we need you to attend the conference. So make sure you go to uncomplicated-leadership.com. So go ahead and click that. Excuse me. And the other thing we're looking for speakers and sponsors as well. So if you feel like your brand and organization's mission aligns and where you want to be seen, then reach out to us, because we are taking sponsors. We are looking for speakers. We're looking for folks who do not just go with the status quo, but have a perspective and a standpoint that will help us move the needle forward. When we think about most change does not happen in grand fell swoops. It's really, if you think about a bubble, it's making a little push out of that bubble that we are in. And once everyone can do that, then the sphere of change that we impact expands as well. And that's what we're looking for. So I think about a tree of knowledge. And with that tree of knowledge, if you have a leaf that you feel can help us grow, let's do it. We want you in there. And if you have a brand that aligns with what we're talking about today, let's do it. We want you in there. So those are a few ways that you can be a part of this. But we're also looking for ambassadors, people who want to be there, maybe volunteer at the conference, want to evangelize what we're talking about here today, believes in making leadership uncomplicated, simplifying the approaches that we take, and tapping into the humanity of putting people first to get results, because we're backwards right now, and we're also overcorrecting. So with technology and all these other things, that we've forgotten about communication and connection and the courage to have the conversations we need to ensure that we're moving the needle forward the proper way.
Absolutely. And I want to share something around the tickets right now. So we're actually in the early bird pricing. So this is as good as it's going to get in terms of pricing. And so we're not going to gatekeep the pricing, and you have to go click the link to find out. Right now, the early bird pricing is $399, and that gets you full conference access, which means you get in the welcome reception and a mixer the night before. You get the full day of conference activities, and you get the happy hour at the end. So that's $399 for all of that. So when you think, that's what I was about to say. I'm like, man, the conferences I go to, I went to a conference, it was $2,000 to go. And so, and if we're really being honest about that, conferences are not cheap. But we wanted to make sure that we priced it at a rate where folks can come in and get what they need, and it's not price prohibitive for the leaders who need it most. And so that is available at the website, uncomplicated-leadership.com. And then on that website, you'll also have access to the sponsorship package. So if you have been listening to us and this is intriguing you in some way, you're just like, my brand could be a part of this, or my company would like to participate, you can go right on that website and download this the sponsorship PDF to get more perspective as to the benefits to you and your organization. And so it makes it really easy for you to become involved with us. And I wanted to say, if you see something, or if you're looking to think about a partnership and it's not in the deck, please do reach out to us and let us know. Send us an email, fill out the contact form. We want to create partnerships that add value, not just for us, but for you and your organization and your leadership team. So if there's something that you want to partner on and it's not there, let us know. And ambassadors. Here's the thing about ambassadors, right? There's always perks to being an ambassador, right? So if you decide that, hey, to Javon's point, you want to evangelize on our behalf, if you truly believe that leadership shouldn't be complicated, it should be practical and put people first, and you want to share that message, we want you to be an ambassador for us. And as I said, there's perks to being an ambassador. We're not going to put it out on Front Street. We want to know who really wants to join us, but there are perks that are available to available to you. And so here's a question I have for you, Javon, because there's someone who's listening who's like, I don't know if I'm fully convinced about coming to this conference. Everybody says their conference is different. I mean, Julia and Javon are cool, but I don't know. So what would you say to someone who has listened to everything we've said and it's like, okay, the sessions is cool, this is cool. What would you say?
For me, I would say if that, one, the price point allows you to explore and experience without breaking the bank, first off. So, and it's not a super long conference, and we do that intentionally. So you also get to, if nothing else, come in, explore Houston, explore a city that has a lot to offer. You get to connect with great other leaders who are looking to, create change and impact it in a meaningful way. And then you also come to a conference that we know is designed and curated based on feedback that we've heard. So as we said, every session is intentional. Every networking center is intentional. The welcome is intentional. The closing is intentional. Everything we built, if you look at the schedule moment to moment, has been designed to ensure that we are maximizing your time and then maximizing the impact of what you're going to receive. So if you are on the fence, reach out to us. Let me know what you care about. Let Julia know what you care about. And as we said, we're co-creating this thing. We want to ensure that you understand what we're talking about here, that it is not, I think people get caught up in the word conference, and it is not just a conference. We are talking about a convening of minds, of thought leaders, of people who are really going to impact what the future look like. When I think about moving the future forward the right way, and I think about, I mentioned the word overcorrecting. These are people who have taken measured approaches to say, hold up, let me slow down to speed up to ensure that we're doing this the right way. So if that is you, you will want to be in this room, and you will want to invite others who should be in this room, because we don't take this lightly, right, Julia? We don't take this work lightly. We are not going to put your name. They say your name means everything, and we would never create something that does not align with who we want to impact and who we are as people. So reach out to us if you have any questions. Don't be afraid to connect with us and challenge us, because we are learning. This is the inaugural conference. In the inaugural conference, we built this with you in mind. So if you feel like we are missing something or you have a question, come on, reach out.
I love that. We're open to hearing your thoughts to make sure that the agenda we're putting together, which will go live on the site soon, we want to make sure that you feel like it's of value to you. And I'm going to push it a little bit further as well. When you look at the moment that we're in right now from a market standpoint and so forth, people are struggling. And so if you are a leader, one, you might be struggling, but also the people that you that are on your teams are dealing with a lot. This is an opportunity for you to come and get some additional insights and perspective as to how you can meet the moment for your people right now. And yes, you may have been to conferences before, but we've never necessarily been in this type of society before in recent history. And so knowing what your people are carrying and knowing, what you have to deal with, the challenges at work, this is an opportunity for you to get some additional tools and tips and strategies for you to help your team and to meet the moment for them right now. And so, that's another thing to consider. And also, if you are coming from out of town, or if you just don't want to stay at home, we have a negotiated hotel rate with the Blossom Hotel. So if you go on the site and the frequently asked questions, you'll be able to access the room block there. And so if you're like, man, I don't know how much it's going to cost, at least from a hotel perspective, we worked on your behalf to make sure that you can have affordable accommodations. But like we said, if there's something that is missing, if we sounds like something is either we're not reading the room or we're missing something, we're open to hearing that message, because we want to make sure that this conference creates as much impact as possible, because we want this to truly be a movement forward, not just a nice to have. We did a conference one time and got everybody together and it was cool. We really want it to be a movement, a leadership movement, where we're putting people first and taking the complexity out of the leadership process. And so with that, Javon, we're at about 26 minutes here. So I want to start to wind it down for the good people. And so any final thoughts, comments, and if you do have questions and we haven't gotten to them, please drop them in the chat now before we wrap up. We want to make sure that we address any concerns live if we can. But if you have any final thoughts, advice, comments, Javon, what would that be?
Yeah, my first thought would be, how many conferences do you know take the personal approach? How many conferences do you know will say, hey, reach out to me, let me know what you're talking about? And you see who is behind the actual conference, not a brand name, but who is actually behind the conference, and that you can actually reach out to them. And we're not looking to upsell you on things. We're looking to actually get the impact of it all. So when you think about uncomplicated leadership, just think about a moment in time. Julia mentioned meeting the moment. Everything feels complicated for most of us right now. So if we're using the word uncomplicated, that's really a bold statement. And it's a bold statement purposefully, because as we mentioned, we've seen these things from myriad companies and industries, and we are there to strategize and help them solutions. So you can get in the room, and not just with us, but other folks who have overcome things that you have likely experienced or are experiencing or will experience, that you can kind of connect with and vibe with. And we also ensure that even if you're an introvert or whoever you are, or you don't feel safe in larger environments where there's a lot of people, we're going to make sure that we make it a little easier for you to connect with people that you want to connect with. And I feel like that is a big boon. We're not going to give you a little button that you wear on your lanyard. We're going to ensure that it is intentional, and we help you to do those things, because we want this to be inclusive, and we thought about it from an inclusive standpoint. Everyone does not operate, communicate, and learn the same way. So we're meeting everyone where they are, and we really have thought about what that looks like. So we could spend another hour on why, but for me, I will leave it at that, Julia, and I'll let you add your piece. But this means a lot to us, and it means a lot to us because you mean a lot to us, and that's what I will leave with.
And to piggyback on that, the intentionality around that, when we say uncomplicated leadership and putting people first, it requires intentionality, right? Where you can't just, willy-nilly show up and try to lead people. You really have to take focus and intention behind how you want to move your people forward and how you want to connect with them. And that's the same approach that we've taken with building this conference. I can't tell you how many meetings Javon and I have had about, well, what do we want to include and how do we want to build this and what should the program look like? We didn't just download from ChatGPT, give us a conference outline. We sat and thought intentionally about every single element, and to make sure that this is going to truly meet your needs. And so that's what I would say is really different about us, is around the intentionality. And like he said, being able to see the faces and give us feedback, that doesn't happen with most conferences. And also, again, the smaller nature of the conference, right? We're not going to have thousands of people there. So you have an opportunity to have meaningful conversations, not a just shove your business card and call me sometime and let's maybe get together 10 years from now. It's really about, how do we meet today? How do we move forward today? How can I help you or serve you today, and vice versa? And we were very intentional about that piece as well. And so we're hoping and excited that you will join us on September 25th, 24th and 25th. Again, starting with our welcome mixer. It's going to be a good time. We're going to have a lot of fun. And then we're going to make sure you get home in time to get some sleep so you can get up nice and early the next day for the full day conference. And if you want to continue to hang with us afterwards, debrief, unwind before heading out, we'll have the happy hour segment as well. And so with that, Dr. Wooden and I would like to thank you for joining us tonight in the chat. Again, if you're on LinkedIn, we've dropped all the information there about how you can sign up and join us, how you can contact us, how you can learn more about the hotel. All of those links are there. And if there's something that's missing, please do reach out to us and we'll make sure that you get it. So thank you guys so much for joining us this evening. And we hope that you enjoy the rest of your night. Have a good one, everyone.
See you at the Uncomplicated Leadership Conference.
Awesome.